That's astonishing. It's absolutely world class. Drama from day one. This is the league we want to watch. Only football can make you feel like this.
They think it's all over. It is now.
What's up, guys? It's Steve-O here with your boys Tom and Brato. Talk to you guys about all the amazing soccer going on. Welcome back to the podcast. So got a lot of great things to talk about this week. Obviously, we had Champions League, some pretty great games, and Europa League, some also pretty good games too. We've got some interesting stuff going on at Juventus, and we've also got a lot of just speculation in the air with transfers and some stuff that's been signed. So we're going to talk about that. And then we're also going to be continuing on with our trash talk. And, you know, just because life is all about balance, we're also going to be introducing another section called A Whole Lotta Love to just praise on some players or just talk about some things that have been done well because we don't be full of negativity here, you know? All right. So I'll get it started. So let's talk about Champions League. Man, we had a lot of good games today. What was you guys' favorite game?
I have to say Man City, Real Madrid, just because it's two of the biggest clubs in the world. I had that feeling that Man City were just going to bring it to him, and Hazard looked really dangerous. Benzema looked really dangerous. But it all came down to those two Rafael Varane mistakes.
Oh, my goodness. I still can't believe it.
I mean, he came out, like, fair play to him. He didn't try and hide away from it. He came out after the game saying, you know, that was my loss today. It wasn't a team loss. I mean, because Man City didn't dominate like I thought they would. But, I mean, aggregate scoreline 4-2 against Real Madrid. It's pretty impressive. So I thought that was a really good game. I was really impressed with Kevin De Bruyne. But we spoke a little bit about their attack and their attack's potency. They could have had 6 or 7 goals.
If finishing was horrible.
Yeah. Kevin De Bruyne put 3 or 4 balls on a plate and the attack missed it. Gabriel Jesus is not a Sergio Aguero replacement. He hasn't got anywhere near the finishing. What are your guys' thoughts?
So I seriously think, Sergio Aguero, I forget how old he is, but he's getting a little bit older, so he doesn't have that much time left. I think Pep is probably going to give Gabriel Jesus maybe one more year, and if he still is not just top-level striker, he's going to go for somebody else. Because, obviously this isn't all him, but Man City had 20 shots, only 7 on target. Now, that also talks to Real Madrid's defense, which, it's not easy to have 20. I feel like it shouldn't be easy to have 20 shots and 7 on target. Only 7 on target, so that speaks to some of the defense. But also, it's just like, why do you need so many shots to have just 7 on target? Look, Real Madrid had 9 and 4 of them were on target. So with less than half the shots, you almost had this many on target. So that speaks to just attacking. I think Man City defended way better than they attacked. Their 2 goals were gifts. Granted, the gifts that they were given were based off of good football. Pressure the defender and make him make mistakes. That's how, that's good football. There's nothing wrong with that. But none of their goals were from anything that they created from midfield or good play from them. It was just from pressure. Then defenders making mistakes. So
I gotta disagree with you guys. I think Jesus was, first off, he wasn't quite as a striker that played a false 9 formation where Phil Foden filled in that striker role. But I think Gabriel Jesus has a lot of potential. I don't think he's a Aguero replacement by any means. I think Aguero is one of the most clinical finishers I have ever seen, along with Zlatan Ibrahimovic. He's 32 years old, so he is getting up there in age, but they are completely different strikers. And I think Gabriel Jesus will fit very well once the whole attack comes around him. My issue is with Sterling.
Oh, yes.
Because that dude, we're talking about winning the ball out of his feet and dribbling. And, he's 10 yards away from a goal and he's cutting it inside and dribbling. Just shoot the ball, man. No wonder they're not scoring a lot. And I feel bad for De Bruyne because he should have so many more assists. But he doesn't because they don't have that prolific scoring, and I think that goes across the board, and Gabriel Jesus is at fault for some of that. But I do think they're very different strikers, and I do think he is more of a pressing and taking the ball away and then he's more of a He strikes me more as a Firmino kind of striker. He's like a hybrid between Firmino and Aguero, where he's just in between. So, I don't know. I thought he did really well. I thought Phil Foden was, as I thought for a long time, overrated. Everybody was talking about Phil Foden like he's the next great thing that comes out of England, and I just wasn't impressed with him. I know it was a daunting task, and Madrid midfield is one of the best midfields in the world, but I just thought he did okay. And to Gabriel Jesus' credit, he did pressure Varane and made him. He was basically responsible for both of the goals that they scored.
Oh yeah,
so,
yeah. That's what I was saying. You got to give him. You got to give credit where credit's due. Both goals were from Jesus, like hounding Varane down. So if he didn't hound him down, he doesn't make those mistakes and cost the goals. But
I agree.
Yeah,
I think I like Phil Foden, but I tend to agree with Brato. I think that he's obviously a great player, but he's got so much pressure on him. He really showed that in the Madrid game. A Man City player I wanted just to call out, as I thought they did really well, was Kyle Walker. I thought he had a great game at right back. I thought Hazard couldn't really do much. He had to cut inside and go against the back two of Man City because he was having no luck against Walker on that right-hand side. But credit to Hazard's... I still think he's one of the best players in the world just for his masterclass of if there's a problem in front of him, he won't keep attacking it. He'll figure out a way to get past it. And that's exactly what he did with Kyle Walker. Kyle Walker was playing really well against him. And you could see Hazard like, okay, this dude I can't get past him. Let me go against these other two, like, very overrated centre-backs, in my opinion. He devastated him.
Well, the other good thing is it was almost never Hazard versus Kyle Walker. It was always Hazard versus Kyle Walker and whoever else was coming from a midfield to help him. And I thought that was just brilliant by Pep. I felt like Madrid forwards were so isolated compared to everyone else. And I know that that's the goal that you strive, but with the quality that Madrid has in the midfield, I definitely didn't think it was going to be that easy for City to beat them. And I honestly didn't think they struggled. I think that it was 2-1, but it could have been 4 or 5-1, in my opinion.
Yeah, it was kind of weird because Madrid kept on going wide, but they never tried to go through the middle. So it's like if you continue to go wide, then the defenders can actually you're making it easier for your defenders if you don't try a different avenue because they just know, you're going to play a long ball out to Benzema on the wide, or out to Hazard on the wild. I mean, Rodrigo gave, what's his name? Cancelo. Was it Cancelo out there? I forget who was out there.
Cancelo was on the left.
Yeah, so Rodrigo kind of had his number, but there was one free kick that he should have had when he just absolutely shoulder checked him or whatever. But Rodrigo gave him a little bit of trouble. But after that, was like nothing. But all they kept on doing was going wide and going wide and going wide. And like you said, Brato, they were just isolated. There was nothing really through the middle for Madrid. So Man City could honestly just relax and, okay, you're going to go out wide. Okay, all right, go out wide. We'll just have two people, 2-on-1, and what are you going to do, basically?
I remember a couple of weeks ago when we spoke about our top 5 players in the world, and I give you guys a hard time for putting Benzema in your top 5. I want to take that back because I think he really showed his class. I think he was a step above the Madrid team, him and Hazard.
Oh, yeah.
His hold-up play is top-notch. He can run. I don't know why I've never seen that side of him. He plays the ugly side of the game really well, and I think that's why I may have looked past him. But I want to take that back and just say I think that dude is sensational.
I think the problem with Benzema is that he's been in Ronaldo's shadow a bit. So, I mean, Ronaldo's been on that team for so long, you don't really see what Benzema does. And then you also go back to just his problem with the French national team. He's been in Ronaldo's shadow. And then he's been doing what Firmino's doing since forever. Just hold up play, distribute the ball. But he scores more than Firmino. That's one thing I'll say. But so a lot of people don't really realize that now that Ronaldo's not there and Benzema's starting to score a lot of the goals, they're like, oh, yeah.
And he is a private guy, and I think that kind of works against footballers in general. Like, Benzema is a private guy, regardless of whenever people talk bad about him, he just keeps to himself. He doesn't really do much to defend himself or actually to even push himself, to be seen in a better light. He just kind of does his own thing, and it's very admirable. A lot of soccer players don't do that. But I am glad that he is getting what he deserves, and that's recognition. And he's been carrying that Madrid team on his back, I think, this whole season. So, hats off to him.
Yeah. But what about that? What about that Barcelona Napoli game though?
Just Lionel Messi, mate.
Oh man, that was ridiculous. Napoli just looked lost. Honestly, I don't know. They just looked like they didn't know what to do.
I think Lionel Messi had one of those first halves of football where he just came out.
What can you do?
Like a different beast. Yeah, like yeah. I heard a good conversation between some football commentators about the Cristiano Ronaldo versus Lionel Messi, and they said it brilliantly. They said the thing that Messi has is he doesn't need any space.
Yeah,
Ronaldo needs space and he needs to run. Messi doesn't need space, and the goal he scored. Like he beat 5 guys and they were all hacking him.
And he's falling over.
Yeah.
He's
every
falling
single
over.
one.
Still scores.
Yeah.
Like, still scores.
It's just, he's just ridiculous. I think, in my opinion, he's the best footballer that's ever lived. I don't think anyone can come that close to him. Maybe Maradona, maybe Pele. I just think he's class, and I think Napoli just didn't have an answer for him. That being said, Napoli did. I saw the second half, and Napoli had a good second half. They have some really good players. I just didn't. Just Messi showed up, and no one can handle Messi when he shows up.
Yeah, it's like, what can you do with that? I mean, he's just like weaving through all your defenders, and like, oh, I can't. It's like, oh, do I hack him or do I not? Like, because if you hack him at the box, he's going to score from a free kick. But if you let him go, he's just going to dink it to Suarez or Griezmann or Jordi Alba, all like running to support, or he'll just finish it just with a ridiculous shot. So it's pick your poison.
That's the thing, guys. Like, he did, like, the Napoli defenders did it by the book. If he's running past you and they can't tackle him, try and foul him. Every single one of them tried fouling him, and he still scored. Like, come on. Like, you can't even...
At this point, though, we can't even be surprised by him. He's so good. What's surprising is that he's still doing it at that level, being at 32 years old, 33, I think he is. That's the more surprising part, is that he can still make people look so, I don't even want to say unprofessional. Like, he just makes them look like he's playing with kids. And that's the beauty of Messi. I agree that I think he's probably the best player we've ever have seen, and probably the talent that we won't see for another 50 to 100 years.
Man, yeah, we've honestly gotten really spoiled with having Messi. Also with having Ronaldo too. Just having both of them around at the same time has been just, we've been straight up spoiled, honestly.
I mean, I hate to bring it up, but the Bayern Munich-Chelsea game.
You hate to bring it up, Tom, really?
Well...
I love to bring
it up.
I mean,
as a Spurs fan,
I mean, Munich did what we knew they'd do. We knew they'd come and completely outshine Chelsea. Granted, Chelsea had some really good play. I thought they did well at times. I just think when Bayern switched it on, there was no answer. And
Bayern looked so comfortable on the ball. I mean, their back line was at halfway, and their fullbacks are all the way in the attacking third, while Boateng and I forget his part, Alaba were in the back just hanging out. So, we know you're not going to do anything. It was just.
I thought Mason Mount started poorly. I thought Barkley was fucking dreadful.
Trash.
I mean, I've always tried sticking up for him a little bit and saying, well, he does make some good runs, but he's the most selfish player that's not good that I've ever seen. Do you know what I mean? Like, he had multiple chances to lay it off to the wide players to get a good ball in the box. And he just tries running. And he tries running against David Alaba, who is stronger, faster, better than him.
Mm.
And if he cuts the other side, he's got Jerome Boateng, who will just knock him off the ball.
Yeah.
And if he gets past them two, Alphonso Davies will come road runner, speed in past him and steal the ball off him. They didn't have the answer. They were missing Pulisic. I think the Chelsea of next season would put a better game than the Chelsea this season. And I know they got really unlucky through injury, but Bayern just outshone them in every department.
Yeah, and I'm also curious to see how Bayern's going to play against Barcelona, because with such a high line, I don't know if you can play a high line against Barcelona just because of the way they possess the ball and they just walk the ball into your half. So I'm just really curious to see how Bayern, like if they adopt the same tactic, because, I mean, with Chelsea, even the commentators are saying, like, if they're playing such a high line, then just play the ball over and challenge him. Granted, you can't really challenge Davis. Maybe you can challenge Kimmich. He's pretty fast too, but Abraham, yeah, they're all really fast. But you should be at least like say, hey, you know what? Stop disrespecting us with such a high line. That's I honestly see that's the ultimate disrespect for someone to have such a high line, because they know, oh yeah, what are you gonna do? Nothing. That's pretty much what they're saying. You're not gonna get past this line.
I know Brato has a thing or two to say about him, but if you're gonna play the long balls, let's have a striker that stays on side, yeah? Tammy Abraham, stay on side, man. You had one job, and the defense was playing at the halfway line.
Yeah.
Your striker, man, like, sort it out.
Yeah.
You won't have a place next season, that's for sure. So he'd have to go down.
I thought that Bayern game was going to be. I thought it was closer than the score indicated. I think the 2 goals that they scored were individual mistakes. I think it was just laziness, which has been Chelsea's problem. I think for a lot of the part of the season is just the lack of focus that happens within a game time. I thought that Mason Mount did poorly. I think that I agree with Barkley was absolute trash. I don't know why that man still plays for a top team like Chelsea. The saddest part is just like looking how far Chelsea have fallen since, 2006, 2007 when we beat Bayern 4-1. It sucks because I was thinking about this. With Willian gone, we basically only have Conte. We have one world talent where everyone else is in development stage. So I don't think that bodes too well for Chelsea for the next couple of years. I think the youth is going to be youth and they're going to be good, but it's going to be a lot of lapse of concentration what happened with Bayern game. So I think next season is going to be heartbreaking as well in Champions League for us.
See, but I think if you do have a creative midfielder in there that knows what they're doing, you would have done way better against Munich, because I seriously don't know who your creative midfielder was supposed to be in that game. Because if you had somebody who can play a pass, all you need is 2 wingers or just one winger who's making back shoulder runs, back post runs, and they keep on challenging that line. Just have somebody play. Don't even play a long ball. Just give it like possessing your half if you have to, and give it to somebody who can play the ball through and have them run through. And then you have 2 people running through. You keep on challenging that back line. Then Bayern has to keep on backing off until you can possess the ball in their half. Then you're closer. Because I mean, you possess the ball in their half. When Odoi had that disallowed goal, you had some spells where you were in their half. But if they're continuously just camped in your half, then you can't do much because you don't really have someone to just release your speed on the wings.
Steve, you hit a nail on the head, and I think I've been saying this whole season we're missing that creative midfielder piece, someone that's going to be able to penetrate the opponent's defense, and we really don't have that. Conte in the middle is fantastic. I think Conte is the best at his position. He's the best when it comes to intercepting the balls, but he is not the kind of midfielder that's going to be able to get the ball and pass it to your wingers and hit them on a counterattack and get it behind the defense. Kovacic is the same way. He is fantastic on the ball. I think he's one of the hardest people to get the ball off of, even though they did and managed to score the second goal. But at the same time, throughout the Premier League season, he has been one of the hardest people to dispossess. but we have no one that's able to be that creative midfielder role where they're able to distribute the ball to our offense and connect our midfield with our offense. And I think that's one of the worst things about Chelsea is, and I really hope we sign Kai Havertz, even though he's been playing on the right wing role for Leverkusen the last couple games. I think we need someone that's going to be able to pass and move in the midfield in order to free up that space. And as of now, no one does it.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what Havertz brings. And, since they got knocked out of the Europa League today, I think it's only a matter of time before we hear that Havertz announcement. And good, because it's what Chelsea need. And the scary thing is, next season, Bayern Munich are going to have Sane on the left-hand side as well.
Oh, my goodness.
Like that, I thought that was their kind of weaker position against Chelsea, the left wing role, because Kingsley Coman, I don't know if he was injured or suspended, but he'd usually fill that role. And Sane is a better player than Kingsley Coman. So,
oh yeah, I mean they're gonna have what, Gnabry and him and
feeding
Sane.
Lewandowski.
Yeah, and so think about Sane is one of the fastest people out there, and you have Davis behind him. Man, that left hand side is gonna be. Ooh, I'd hate to be a defender on that side. I would hate to be a defender on that side.
You can't defend that. They'll just kick it past you and run.
Yeah.
But,
man.
But another result that I know we're all super happy with is that Juventus are out.
Yeah. Okay, hold on. So I really haven't seen anything about this. Those two penalties in that game. What was up with that?
Oh, nonsense, mate.
Awful.
Nonsense.
What in the world? So the first one was like, okay, hold on. Why? And the second one, it was, I would say, like the most blatant makeup call I've ever seen in my life. That ref just looked so I don't know, like kind of lost. He gave out yellow cards way too early. I mean, granted, if something's a yellow card offense, it's a yellow card offense. But just some of the cards he gave was like, why are you giving a yellow card for that? You're just setting yourself up for not giving a yellow card later because you don't want to have someone leave the field. And then when you should be giving out a yellow card, you're not going to because you're thinking, oh, wait, he's on a yellow card already because he gave the yellow card too early. It was just such a weird game. But honestly, I was not impressed by Juventus at all. So that game, they had 40 crosses. 40 crosses. And it's just like, I mean, I don't even know what their game plan was. They had that one moment of brilliance from Benedeschi. And then, I forget the defender's name, came in out of nowhere and just dispossessed him. But it was all just like Cuadrado having an early cross in from way outside the box. And then like, oh, what are we going to do? Leon's going to just clear the ball because they're sitting back because they're, that's, they looked so just like they didn't know what they were doing, honestly.
Yeah, I just love the fact that Juventus lost because I'm sad because I love Buffon and I want Buffon. What? I like Buffon a lot. I think he's a gentleman of the game. And I'd like to see him win the Champions League, not with Juventus though. But that's the one title he needs to win. But I'm really happy that Lyon won. I love that they're through. I think I think it's probably the last time we'll see them in the Champions League because now they play Man City.
Yeah.
Man City are going to destroy them.
Yeah, they really.
I was going to say, I think Juventus is. I mean, they're playing the Italian league, which is not nearly as strong. I think it's the weakest league out of the big leagues. And the fact that Gonzalo Higuain is, their striker, while he was a world class, let's be honest, he's 34?
Oh man,
he's not.
He's like 20 pounds heavier than his prime.
He did okay at Chelsea, but Oliver Giroud is a better striker than him at this point.
Oh yeah.
So it's just that I think it's just, they're playing with a team that's relying heavily on Ronaldo, and Paulo Dybala was injured, and you can't beat many teams like that, especially when it's especially when it's one game. And I do think Lyon got very lucky. I do think that was one of the worst penalty calls I have ever seen. I don't know. Every week we talk about VAR and refereeing, and I honestly don't know, how do you justify something like that? Some people need to be questioned after both of those calls. And I'm pretty sure they gave it. I'm positive they gave the Juventus a penalty kick just to even out the bad call from earlier that happened.
It wouldn't surprise me, mate.
Yeah, that was horrible. Just there's no. I don't see how you could argue for especially the first one. How you could just argue that was a penalty in any way, shape, or form. It's like he got the ball. Yeah, they got tripped over him, but it's not like he.
It was awful, mate.
Yeah, it was horrible.
I mean,
but we can all agree we're happy Juventus is out because I love seeing an underdog in Champions League.
Me too, mate.
And because of that, Sarri's out now. I mean, seriously, like what his like timeline and trajectory or whatever. I feel like people talked really well of him when he was at Napoli, saying, "Oh, he has this game plan, like this style of play that's really awesome to see." Blah blah blah. And then he comes to Chelsea and just like, wait, what?
He did great at Chelsea.
You said what?
He did great at Chelsea.
Signed Kepa.
He didn't. I don't think that was him. But he won us the Europa League. We finished. I think. We qualified for Champions League next year. I thought that we played really well overall. I do think that there was some. I mean, Chelsea is not a strong team. We don't have as talent. We had Hazard, Willian, and Conte. You know, that's probably more than most teams in England do, but it's not enough to push us in a championship contender. So I thought he did great at Chelsea. I thought he's a good coach in my opinion. I just think he's hard to work with. I think that's his problem is the hierarchy it's just too hard to work with.
Yeah, I would definitely say that. I mean, just especially if you're at Chelsea. Chelsea is a club that's run by the locker room, and if you're already difficult to work with, you're not gonna last there because that locker room has given so much power ever since like John Terry days. So that's not gonna go over well. But looking forward though, we got some nice games coming. We got Atalanta, PSG, RB Leipzig, Atletico Madrid, Barcelona, Bayern, then Man City, Lyon. What's you guys' predictions?
I think Paris will beat Atalanta, but I don't think it'll be a comfortable game. I think Atalanta are definitely underrated and they're the underdogs. So I think, Paris's ego might come into play. I don't know if Mbappe is still injured or not. I think
he's been at training, but they haven't announced if he's going to play yet, I don't think.
So I think my predictions is going to be 2-1 PSG for that game. I think Atletico Madrid will beat Leipzig because they've lost Timo Werner. So I think Atletico Madrid, I think it'll be a close game. I think 1-0.
Remember, Atletico Madrid has already had 2 positive cases of COVID, and UEFA has said that the only people that they're going to continue on with the tie, but the only people that will play are those people that tested negative. So Atletico Madrid could be depleted for that game. So that's going to be
that's a question mark.
Yeah. So that's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I'm going to leave that as a question mark then.
Yeah, exactly.
If it's a full Atletico squad with no big players missing, I think they win. But I think it'll be a tight game. I think it'll be 1-0. I think Bayern Munich are going to beat Barcelona. I think that'll be one of the best games of the Champions League this season. I just have that feeling that Messi's going to show up, but I think the whole Bayern squad will show up as well. And it's going to be Lionel Messi versus Alphonso Davies, and I can't wait to see that battle.
Oh, man.
Big fan of them both.
That's going to be amazing.
For a scoreline, though, I don't know. I think both teams will get a goal. I'm going to go for a draw, actually. 2-2. And then Bayern to get it when they go to Munich. And I think Man City are going to beat Lyon.
Isn't it all one leg, though?
Is it?
Yeah, it's all one leg.
Yeah, it's all one leg.
It's all one leg.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
They're all in Portugal.
Yeah.
They're all in Lisbon.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, they're all
okay.
in Lisbon, too.
Oh, so I'll go for a Bayern Munich win.
Oh, boy.
I'll go for a 3-2 Bayern Munich win. Wow. I think they'll get 3 goals in the first half, and then Barcelona will come back and scare them. And then I think Man City will trounce Lyon 4-0. I don't want him to. I'd love to see Lyon win, but the class of Man City, they're the only team in the world that really scare me. So
I think Atalanta beats PSG. Atalanta has the most goals scored in Serie A this year, even though some of them did not win. I mean, granted, they've lost Olic because he has some stuff going on. Not sure what that is, but they have seriously like the highest scoring. Like they score the most goals in Serie A. So, and then PSG is looking kind of iffy with possible injuries and all that. So they all haven't been training together. So I think Atalanta beats PSG 2-1. Leipzig, Atletico Madrid. Yeah, that's a tough one.
That is a tough one. It really is.
But I still think Atletico Madrid wins, but just like 1-0.
Mm-hmm.
And Bayern Barcelona. I think this is where Barcelona's lack of depth comes to hurt them. I think Munich wins. I mean, both teams are definitely going to score, but I would say 3-1 Bayern. And then Man City Lyon. I want Lyon to win so bad. I want to say the score is going to be 1-0 Lyon.
It won't be.
I know it won't be, but I just want to go with it.
I just want to go with
it. Because Lyon really didn't get tested defensively against Juve, so I can't really say, they are a great defensive team based off of that. But you know what? I think if Lyon can nick an early goal, they win this. So I'm still going to go with it. 1-0 Lyon.
Are you, Prato?
Wow. So I'm more. First off, I think that PSG is going to trash with or without Mbappe. I think it'll be a comfortable win for him. They just have too much talent while they're playing a French league and they're leaps above everyone else. I do think with talent that they have, they'll be hard to lose against even someone that's a prolific scoring team like Atlanta. I think Atletico Madrid is going to be really I think the two positive cases, people that tested positive for Corona is Correa, which is a loss for him. But I think they're such a good, strong defensive unit that it'll be impossible for RB Leipzig to break them down. I'm going to disagree with you guys and say Barcelona is going to beat Bayern.
Yeah, let's go.
I think Bayern, who is so good at keeping possession, I don't know how often they're going to be able to utilize that speed. And I think Messi is just going to – I see him scoring a free kick. I predict it's going to be probably – I want to say 2-1, but I do think it's going to be more along the lines of 3-2 Barcelona. And obviously, Man City is going to trash Lyon. I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be 3-0. But once again, it's not because City is unable to score. It's just because they're not taking their chances and finishing like they should. I think they're so good. Kevin De Bruyne is the best midfielder in the world. I know Tom called it a month ago. I had my reservations, so I didn't want to go that far to say that he is the best midfielder in the world because I still think Toni Kroos is amazing, and I thought that Luka Modric is still, has something to give. But after watching that trashing, I will admit, there's no one that compares to Kevin De Bruyne in that center mid role. And it's sad to see the greats like Luka Modric and Toni Kroos not even be at that level anymore. But they're getting older. I think Toni Kroos is still 29, so he still has a lot to give. And I thought he was Madrid's best player next to Benzema. But it's a sad day for soccer world. All our favorite players are getting old.
Right.
Yeah, you're right.
So speaking of our players the people that we watched growing up getting old, Pirlo, man. Pirlo is the coach of Juventus.
Why?
So
why? What has he done?
I love it.
oh my goodness,
love it.
exactly. Like, I mean, that's not my strong of reaction, but that's also kind of my reaction. I honestly think it's a mistake by him because you want to start out with your U23s or like a really small club, get your feet wet, figure out what you're doing. Obviously, the man knows football. That dude was pulling strings and just reading the game when he was playing. So he knows how to build a team and everything, but it's also man management, in-game changes, and you're not on the field. So coaching from the sideline is totally different from just being that man in the midfield, just pulling the strings and all that. So, and then you're going to Juventus, where Juventus they don't care about Scudetto anymore. They don't care about winning the league. I don't know. I don't want him to fail, obviously. But it's just like, I just see like, what's his name? Gary Neville. He went to Valencia and just absolutely just fell on his face. And
he was bad.
Yeah, and he should have started way smaller than he did. Like, going to somewhere like Valencia as your first big gig is not great. So, I mean, hopefully it succeeds, but I think it's definitely not the smartest of choices.
Well, to me, he is 42 years old, and I think when you have teammates that are older than you, like, while everyone respects Pirlo and he is one of the greats, at the same time, though, I can't imagine people that are 43-year-old like Buffon or Ronaldo that's getting up there in age, taking criticism from someone that they played with just a couple years ago too well. Like, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe they're more professional than what I give them credit for.
Yeah,
It's just, he's gonna win the series off easily. I think he might even get Scudetto, but there's no way that they're gonna win Champions League. And maybe I'm wrong, but I just don't think he has proven himself enough to be put in charge. And everybody's following the Zidane. Zidane did it with Real Madrid, and everyone thinks that they can do it. But I think even that was because he had the Galacticos. Like, Real Madrid was such a strong team with Ronaldo in his prime and Toni Kroos, Luka Modric. Like, the team was stacked. And now you have Gonzalo Higuain as your striker. You can't win Champions League with that.
No. And what's crazy is that, so he actually hasn't even finished all his coaching courses or whatever. He hasn't finished those yet. And he had seriously 9 days before he got appointed as coach of Juve, he had just been appointed coach of the U23s. So he hadn't even coached them at all. Then like, oh yeah, you're coach of the head team. So it's like, that's you know what? I guess we'll see.
That's some Italian. That's some Italian stuff happening. That sounds so shady to me. Like, it really does.
Yeah, I don't know.
They're crazy. They're crazy for not giving Mauricio Pochettino a chance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I agree. I think Pochettino would have done well there. I think Pirlo is he's like one of the coolest men in football history. Like, people just idolize him, and I think that, his name helped him get that role. So we'll see. I don't think he's going to do that well. I think they'll probably do exactly what they've done this year, in all honesty. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting, especially for a neutral. I don't really support any team in Italy.
Yeah.
So I just like watching the big clubs over there. So I'm interested. I want to see Juventus fail because I just like the underdogs.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I'm intrigued, but I agree with both of you that they should have given the job to Mauricio Pochettino.
Yeah. Do you think? Okay, so do both of you guys think he'll win Scudetto?
It's not that hard. I agree. It's not that hard in Italy to win a league. They've won it for the past 10, 15 years, however long. Since they got banned from cheating, they won it ever since they came back. Like, it's honestly not that hard to win the league. And Scudetto, like, if you have a bit of luck on your side, you'll win it. So yeah. I say 70% chance to win a Scudetto. I'm surprised Sarri didn't win it, but I think Sarri is one of those managers that I think he struggles in important games.
No, he won Scudetto. Juve just won the league.
Not with Juventus. Oh, he won the league, but not the Scudetto. Scudetto is the Italian Cup too.
Oh, my bad.
With that, yeah. So he'll definitely win the league, but I don't think he'll win the Italian Cup alongside it.
Yeah, actually, that's true. We'll have to see. He's definitely not. I don't see how he'll do well in Champions League because he doesn't have the experience as a coach. At least like with Zidane, he had actually been coaching for about maybe 2 years, Real Madrid's B team. So he was actually, building his own brand of coaching already in the system. He was like a advisor or whatever back in 2010 because Mourinho wanted him on there. So he's already getting experience not being a coach, but being in the coaching staff. And then he actually coached the B team and then got appointed as coach. And Pirlo is just starting to take his courses as a coach, and then he's getting appointed. It's like, I guess we'll see. But
it's too soon, in my opinion. I mean, I hope we're wrong, and I hope he's amazing. I would absolutely love for him to succeed as a coach because I loved him as a player. I thought he was one of those class players at all times. So yeah, I'd love to see him succeed, but I think it's just a daunting task, and I think it's just stupid. He hasn't done anything to prove himself, and managers that would be good are not getting that opportunity just because Pirlo is Pirlo.
Yeah, I definitely agree. This transfer market, I don't know why, but it just felt kind of weird to me,
It feels a bit up in the air, doesn't it?
Really up in the air.
What's happening?
Well, I guess we can talk about confirmed signings. We have Nathan Ake from Bournemouth to Man City.
It's a good signing for them.
You guys
I think he'll flop.
It's a good signing?
No, I think
he'll flop.
Well,
I think he'll be amazing.
We talked about this earlier, how he was part of the defense that let in so many goals. I mean, we kind of talked about this before, but and then you have Otamendi possibly leaving.
And they've just signed that Ferran Torres. I'm sure they'll sign another defender as well. Probably an attacker as well.
Eric Garcia. Eric Garcia is now renewing his contract. He wants to play for Barcelona from what I've read. So
yeah, I saw
they're losing
that.
young talent. Yeah.
That's I mean, you could kind of see that coming. So I think Ferran Torres, I don't know much about him. Valencia winger.
Yeah.
He looked pretty good, but I'm intrigued more about two big names coming to the Prem, Sancho and Havertz.
Dude, yes. Brato, what are your thoughts on the Havertz deal?
So, like we were talking about it, I honestly did not like his attitude the last 2 games that he played for Leverkusen. It felt like he didn't want to be there. It felt like he wasn't really trying. I don't think I've ever saw him get back on defense once. Granted, he was playing the right winger.
Yeah.
But maybe it's just the coaching and the system that wasn't required of him. But I just felt like he was very lackluster when it came to off the ball. When he was on the ball, I absolutely enjoyed it. I don't think he ever possessed the ball for more than a couple touches. It was basically pass and move, and I enjoyed that kind of football being played. So I don't know. I hope I'm wrong about him, and these 2 games are just kind of transfer beating him down, and his attitude is actually very upbeat and he's energetic. But I think at this point he'll be a great signing, obviously, because anyone would be a great signing for Chelsea at this point. to replace Barkley, anyone is good. But at the same time, dude, I didn't think he was very hungry, and that kind of worries me.
Well, I think as well, it's probably, Leverkusen have probably said something in the region of stay until we either win the Europa League or that we get knocked out. Guarantee that he'd rather be at Chelsea right now playing and training with the team, just as Werner did, just as Ziyech did. So there might be a little bit of salty attitude towards the manager. It certainly looked like it, but as you said, as soon as he got on the ball, he looks good. And I think he's the exact player that Chelsea are going to thrive off. And I think Frank will be building his team around Havertz, in all honesty. That's the kind of talent he has, and he's young. I think it'll be a great transfer. And since Leverkusen got knocked out of the Europa League today, I think it's only a matter of time before that signing happens.
I hope you're right. I thought at the time the same thing kind of flowed through my mind. But even if that's the case, it's just certain kind of unprofessionalism, I think. And I get it, he's 21 and he'll change and he'll learn. But just something about it just didn't sit too well with me.
So what I will say though is that I think so. We haven't watched any of his games outside of those 2 games. I think that might be how he plays because I haven't watched any of his highlights or anything like that at all. But for all we know, he's like a 10, not a winger. I think that he might be just that kind of like Berbatov player where he just looks, just like, I'm just going to stroll around the ball. Oh, got the ball. Okay, here we go. Boop, boop, boop. Like, do something real quick. Oh, down with the ball. Yeah, just going to stroll around, do whatever I want. So it might be unfair to him to make a judgment based off of 2 games. It might be. But I think that if he wasn't playing 100%, if he wasn't giving his all, if he was being a professional, a coach is going to say, you know what, if you don't want to play, get off my field. Go somewhere else. I'll give playing time to somebody who wants to play. So that might be just how his playing style is. And maybe somebody who watches a bit more Bundesliga than us can, hop on here and let us know, like, hey, is that his demeanor all the time? I mean, hopefully for you, like that's what his demeanor is like all the time. But when he's on the ball, he's good and going. But yeah, based on the 2 games I've seen, he just looked so just disinterested when he was on the wing.
Yeah, and like I said, it could be. We all said it. It could be multiple reasons as to why that is. And I think I truly hope. I know. It's one of the manager's job is to make sure to motivate the players and make sure that he gets the players to give their all. So hopefully, even if that's the case, Frank can turn him around because he is an amazing talent. And the goal he scored today was it was beautiful. Unlike Tammy Abraham, he stayed on side the entire time and tucked it in. So, it was beautiful.
He's got composure, and that's what I like about him. I like players that can compose themselves and not just swipe their foot at it. We know that Sancho was meant to move, but the deadline was today, I believe.
Yeah. So
it's not happening.
I don't think it's happening.
Here's my thoughts, right? So would it be great to have a player like Sancho at Man United? Oh, absolutely. Yeah. If it was Man United, I'd definitely be very happy. But at the same time, that's like $120 million. That's Mitch, our friend Mitch has said, you could get 2 world-class defenders for that price. Granted, we don't need 2 more defenders because we have 7 defenders on our roster. We need to offload pretty much at the very least 3 of them. Like, we need to offload Rojo, need to offload Phil Jones.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Great White Hope. You keep Phil Jones.
No.
You keep Phil Jones for comedic purposes. Only that.
Yeah, I need to see him on a Sunday with his many, many faces.
Head tackling Giroud as he falls over. But yeah, we could easily $120 million. You could get a whole bunch of just bench players, honestly.
Yeah,
not even world class players, just bench players, honestly. And that way we have more depth for when people get injured. Because when Rashford is out, that really hurt us. When Pogba is out, that really hurt us. And then we have people to fill those roles, and we have to go and get Igalo, which Igalo's been great. Like, he's been living the dream, but he's also been working hard. But we have to wait till the window opened. If we already had somebody who could just be a backup striker, then we would have been fine. Then had to worry about extending the loan and all that. So I don't know. I'd rather spend the money on just not one player, but a bunch of other players. But I think part of the thing is that we haven't really had just a standout right winger ever since Ronaldo left, and I think honestly that's part of it. Like, nobody has been a standout right winger at Man United since Ronaldo left, and I think that's part of Sancho could be that right winger that Ronaldo was. Well, not the one that Ronaldo was, but fill a similar role.
Yeah, so could Greenwood, and so could James if they're given opportunity to do so. And Greenwood has taken his opportunity.
Yeah.
So, but I do agree. I do agree that you need more signings. I think when you have a manager like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, who I firmly believe he lacks creativity and how to utilize the players, you need a player for position kind of. And, the more you have, the better.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I think there's a business behind football now as well. And I think if you're the United chairman, who is going to sell more shirts, Greenwood or Sancho? Sancho.
Ooh. Yeah.
And there's a footballers now brand themselves, and if Sancho comes to United, it will make world news. Probably bring a lot of Dortmund fans as following United as well. And I think that's it's the kind of the part of the game that I don't really like to think about. But then it's why PSG bought Neymar. They bought him for his talent, but they bought him for his name and the fact that he now plays for PSG, and they bought him all this stuff. And same with Mbappe, and
same with Ronaldo. Juve, their stock shares just shot all the way up when they got Ronaldo.
And I think and Sancho's young, and not only that, he's really talented. So I think I hate to say it, but I think it's almost a win-win for United, because if you do sign him, you get Sancho, and you get more money in shirt sales and following and stuff. But if you don't sign him, you have, like Barato said, you have Daniel James and Greenwood there ready to play. So I think you really can't lose, and it's one of those rare situations where you don't need him, but if you had him, great.
Yeah, the same can be said for Dortmund too, right? Like, if they sell him, that's 120 million that they just got, and they can reinvest it. And if there's any club that knows how to reinvest their money, it's Dortmund.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. But if they keep him, fantastic for them, because they just have a class player, and I think they will be so dangerous next year.
Absolutely, especially with Haaland settling in there too. Like that's
exactly. Other than that, there's no real big names. I know Spurs are probably going to sign Højbjerg, but he's not really a huge name compared to Havertz and Sancho. For 80 million, whatever Havertz is, and 120 million, we're signing Højbjerg for 15 million and sending a player the other way. I like Højbjerg, but is he a game changer? Probably not, right? But we'll see. Yeah. It's more of a team player. He's come out and said a few things that I like. He said he doesn't care about his own highlights, but if he can make someone else look good, that's what he cares about. And that's like the person you want to have in your team.
Well, I think Højbjerg will do really well.
I agree.
At Tottenham. I think he is the type of player that excels under Mourinho. Like, Mourinho is going to be like, go out there and be my dog, and Højbjerg would be that dog out there. Like, imagine if you have Højbjerg and Sissoko as, just bossing the midfield, and you can just have either Lo Celso or just some other, or even in Ndombele, like if he can play closer to the strikers, him playing just ahead of them, and they're just mopping up everything. And Højbjerg, he's got a good pass on him too, and he has a good shot on him. That would be a really good, strong three in the midfield. And Mourinho I think Højbjerg would do really well under Mourinho.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. And I think Mourinho's come out saying that Ndombele is not ready and he needs more discipline. And I think Mourinho has this master plan that, stay with me and I'll turn Ndombele into the exact player that you think he is, but he's not quite disciplined yet.
Yeah.
I don't think he'll sell him. I know there's all these Inter Milan rumours about a swap deal with Skriniar and Ndombele. I don't think it will happen. I think Mourinho sees something in him, but he also doesn't like his attitude. I think that's what all this no playing time is about, is just Mourinho saying, hey, listen, I'm the boss, and if I tell you you've got to run, you've got to run. And I don't think it's Ndombele's style. And he's still young, man. He's 22 years old.
What?
Yeah. He's a young guy. So I think it might be a bit of a Mourinho masterclass incoming. He obviously he sees something in Højbjerg. He's targeted him from day one. He wanted him in January. It didn't happen. So I agree that I think he's that kind of player that Mourinho is like, this guy will run himself into the ground every game. Yeah. He's better on the ball than Sissoko. Probably a lot smarter player than Sissoko. So we'll see. But other than that, what else is going on? Nothing. So
Liverpool I kind of feel bad for Jamal Lewis because I didn't really watch a lot of Norwich City games, but Jamal Lewis, he was a pretty decent player for Norwich City. I think he would have done really well at Liverpool because he's that kind of just fast, pacey, just right wing back. I'm definitely not as good as Trent, but he would have been a good just replacement for Trent, like backup. But they went for that Greek wing back. So right now I think Liverpool has replacements for both their wing backs right now. So if either of them is injured, they have somebody who can step in and just say, okay, all right, yeah, we're ready to step in. So they're reinforcing, but I really haven't, not much else going on that I'm aware of.
Well, Sergio Reguilon has been linked with Chelsea for the left back position. He's currently on loan at Sevilla and actually scored a pretty nice goal for him in the Europa League. But I think the main one that we really need to talk about is Willian leaving Chelsea to go to Arsenal on a 3-year deal, and he just turned 32.
3 years. That is.
And Arsenal just fired 55 people.
Yeah,
that's so messed up.
Scumbags, mate.
Look,
that's so messed up.
Arsenal fans, what the hell? That's crazy. I know it's business, and I know you got to take emotion out of business, and running a club is a business. But you just signed Aubameyang for 3 years, and he's up there too. You just increased his salary. You laid 5 people off, and now you're funding a move for Willian. I think it's hard to be an Arsenal fan these days. That just seems unethical, and I think while it is a business, it's just he's 30. He's going to be 35, and you're going to be paying him. I love Willian. I think Willian is world class, but he has at most a year left, a good solid year left.
It's like the way I see it, I feel like it's just another like Sanchez situation where he's gonna go there, and because he's done great things at Chelsea, right? He didn't really have a lot of goals or assists last season, but he's gonna go there, and I think he's not gonna do well at all, and he's gonna be sitting on a 3-year contract till he's how old is he? 32, you said? Till he's 35 and just not performing. He just
turned 32 yesterday.
Yeah, till he's 35, a 3-year contract. That is ridiculous. Like, how desperate do you have to be? I don't know which episode I was saying, but I was like, why are you not investing money in your midfield or your defense, Arsenal? Why? Like, I don't get it. Obviously they've been having trouble with Lacazette or whatever, but you have Aubameyang. I think it's smart to keep Aubameyang. He has been on fire lately. Definitely. Yeah, keep him. You've got Aubameyang, you've got Bukayo Saka, you've got Emiliano Martinelli, who's now saying, hey, I want regular team minutes and I'm leaving. So you've got Aubameyang, Bukayo Saka, Emiliano Martinelli, and you also have Eddie Nketiah. Granted, all of them aren't world class, but they're there. They're there, ready to go.
Play them and they can be world class.
Exactly.
I agree with you.
And then you have Lacazette who you're ready to sell. Yeah, go ahead and sell him. And then you obviously have enough money to pay Aubameyang. You have enough money to pay for Willian. And then they're looking to sell Lucas Torreira. So just go ahead and fortify your defense and midfield, and you're fine up top. But
yeah, they're gonna let talent like Ainsley, Maitland-Niles. Yeah, they're gonna let talent like him actually lead. And I saw that he was linked. Yeah.
Tottenham.
He is. He's at it. Yeah, I saw Spurs were linked with them.
He's linked to Spurs.
He would do well. He would do well at Spurs.
Absolutely.
I like Maitland-Niles a lot.
I don't think he's I don't think he's a really great player, but he's one of the people where at least the Arsenal games I've seen him play, he goes all out. He's not the kind of player that's gonna be just out there like, oh, okay, like you can tell from watching him play, he's going all out.
He's only 22 though.
He needs a good coach. That's what he needs.
Yeah, absolutely.
When is the last time? Well, Arsene Wenger. I can tell you when the last time Arsenal had a good coach. I think Arteta is a good manager, but is he the type that's going to build a player? We don't know because he's so young. Maybe, but definitely not Emery. That guy is what a waste of space. Can't stand it.
I just don't understand why you're not investing into young talent like Ainsley. Instead, you're giving Willian a 3-year contract. I mean, once again, he is not going to be he's not going to be dominating in 2 years. I mean, he wasn't dominating this year. So,
Yeah, I
by the
agree with
way,
you,
he
man.
was. Yeah, I don't know. It's just, to me, it's crazy. And it's hard to be an Arsenal fan, I think, these days.
Yeah, I mean, last week's trash talk for me was Arsenal, and
Might have to be Arsenal again this week.
it could quite easily be Arsenal again. And that's just coming. It's not just coming from a Spurs fan. I just think they're that scummy, to be honest, for doing that to employees. And then you're paying Mesut Ozil $350,000 a week.
And this is after their players took a pay cut too. They took a pay cut because of COVID, so they could keep money in the club and pay these workers. And they're like, oh yeah, well, redundant. We need to sign people. What?
Hate Arsenal. Leads nicely into trash talk, right?
Yeah. What's you guys' trash talk?
You should go first, Stevo.
So I would like to trash talk Micah Richards.
Okay, why?
So did you see that? First off, I really shouldn't give him airtime, honestly, because who's Micah Richards? But I remember he was on it was him and Roy Keane, and they were talking punditry, and Roy Keane was like asking like, "What have you done?" And this dude just started inflating himself, talking about how he like burst onto the scene and how he like won all these awards as a young player. It's like, yeah, when you were a teenager, but what did you do when you were playing Man City? Not much. And then after the Barcelona-Napoli game, he's talking about, after that performance, knocked 20 million pounds off his asking price. I'm like, are you kidding me? Because of one game, because the man played Messi, who's the best player on the world, you're going to say knock 20 million off his price tag? Are you kidding me? Have you ever watched any of his other games? Like Koulibaly is like a great player. Like, how are you going to say like one game knocks 20 million off his price tag? That's just absolutely just like
against Messi.
Yeah, against Messi. Like, did you see all that Koulibaly did? Like, you're a defender. You should be able to see like the guy is composing the ball, carries the ball well. Yeah, distributes the ball well. Granted, I mean, he gave away that penalty against Messi because he got caught sleeping. But
it's Messi, man. It's Messi.
Yeah, exactly. It's Messi. And the thing is, if he was playing with other defenders where he could trust, like lay the ball off, and now being forced to play a long ball from behind, they never put in that situation. So I don't see how you can say just because of one game, somebody's values has dropped 20 million. If you want to say that about one game, then okay, maybe Varane. But then,
yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, and that also actually it's almost twofold. I hate how much defenders get hated on too. Because seriously, defenders make one mistake, and it might be a goal. Attackers, strikers miss so many chances, mess up so much, and it's like, oh yeah, you'll get it next time. That was so bad. And then it's like, but defenders have so much just riding on their shoulders because one mistake from them, and that's it. Like, you, as a defender, you can't just get touched, and you can't let the breeze blow you over because what if the ref doesn't give it? Oh, you know what? Striker's on goal. Or if you just make it one silly mistake, it's like it's a goal. But then strikers they get touched, like, oh well, I think I might have gotten shot. Can you give me a free kick, ref? So yeah, that's my trash talk. Micah Richards and people not appreciating the defenders and keepers.
Prato, you want to go, or do you want me to go?
I'll go. I need to cool off after you go. I want to start off by saying I do think that players in general work hard, and I do think that they deserve a break and they deserve to have a life outside of soccer. I want to point that out.
Okay.
However, Tammy fucking Abraham. First off, he was offside so many times against freaking Bayern Munich. Come on, man. Stay on side. You're playing such a high line. You're so athletic and so fast. You're able to win a foot race against freaking David Alaba, who is up there in age, and Jerome Boateng. You could outrun him. And that guy was kept constantly being offside. Hudson-Odoi's got canceled because he was offside. It was constantly during the game. You know what's the worst part? I follow that guy on freaking Instagram. He's been partying it up on a beach after getting beat 4-1. I get it. You deserve a break. But if I wasn't offside throughout the freaking game, I'd be doing freaking drills, trying to work on my timing. And he went to see Salt Bay tonight. The Salt Bay eating meat, eating steak.
Keep that private.
Dude, after losing 4-1, come on.
Yeah,
if I was Frank Lampard, he wouldn't freaking. I would send him on loan next year.
Yeah, I would.
Get your life together.
Yeah,
Get your fucking shit together. I'll tell you what. I admire. I know we have a new segment, so I'll save my new segment for later. But it's maddening to see a club like Chelsea and players so talented, and all of this young fame that gets in their head, and their talent just becomes squandered. It's so maddening. This is why people that are so calm and collected, like Mason Greenwood has shown to be this year, will be the superstars, and players like Tammy Abraham will not.
Yeah, I mean, if I was a Lampard, before I send him alone, I have him come to practice, and I would run till he pukes. It's like, yo, how's Salt Bay? Yeah, puke it all up.
I would too.
Yeah, because obviously you don't care about this badge that you play for. Like if you're playing for a club, you gotta have pride in that. Like if you just like lost like that to a team, like I mean, obviously you gotta rise above your defeats, but at the same time, don't just go partying, man. And if you have, and if that's how you like kind of escape it, then don't be dumb enough to put that on Instagram, man. Like keep that private, because that's just not smart at all. Like,
yeah, I agree.
Hudson-Odoi was like, I don't know if it was a dinner, but I saw a picture of Christian Pulisic, Hudson-Odoi,
Tomori, right?
and Tammy Abraham, I think. Or it could have been Tomori. If you call it Tomori, that was in the picture. And you know what? I followed all of them as well, and I didn't see anything post by any of them about like the extravagant lifestyle. I think Tammy Abraham he's just letting the fame get into his head. And for someone that started the season so well but ended it so poorly, the last thing on my mind would be to just freaking go and party with Salt Bay and spend thousands of dollars on freaking food, when in reality, he should be freaking running drills and realizing where the hell his season went wrong.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I agree, man.
Bring Timo Werner. I'm all excited for Timo Werner.
Yeah, he'll run.
When Timo Werner was signed, I was like, I don't know how I feel about this. I like that Tammy Abraham has competition. Maybe he'll push him to the next level. Screw that. Tammy Abraham on the bench. I'm over that crap. I wouldn't play him at all.
Me neither, man. I mean, I hate to do it, but my trash talk is also a Chelsea player.
Oh man.
In Kepa, who I'm very vocal about from the start. The minute Chelsea signed him, I was like, nah, £71.6 million for a goalkeeper that's that small to start is a little bit crazy. But I have some pretty bizarre statistics that I couldn't believe, so I had to like do a little bit of research, and it's actually true. So I'll start with this. Out of 99 shots he faced, he saved only 55 of them, which is 54.5% save percentage, which is the worst save percentage in Premier League history for a goalkeeper that's played more than 10 games.
Oh, no way.
It's also the worst in Europe's top 5 leagues this whole season. It's also the worst in the Champions League. His Champions League save percentage was only 50%.
Oh, man, that's horrible.
For comparison, the best save percentage in Europe this season, which I was really happy with, is Hugo Lloris. And
no
his save,
way.
Yeah, 80.2% save percentage from shots faced, which I was happy with. But to put that into perspective, that's a big difference. I just can't believe it. He has the worst save percentage in European Premier League history, for a goalkeeper that's played more than 10 games.
Wow.
And this is the one that really got me. So 47 goals conceded this season, which, is fine. But for 14 of those goals, he didn't even move. What? Like, that's 30% of the goals that he conceded. He didn't even attempt to save it. And some of them, I remember one, and I couldn't believe it. I was happy it went in. Harry Kane shot from about 35 yards. It wasn't that good a shot. Across the floor, Kepa just watched it. And you can actually see him watch it from the moment it leaves Harry Kane's foot. I actually watched videos on it today, and I was like, he watches it the whole way. As soon as it leaves Harry Kane's foot, he just stares at it. Doesn't even attempt, at least dive to make the Chelsea fans not hate you.
It's like, look, coach, I tried.
And this week, my trash talk was going to be Matteo Guendouzi, because I think he is a prick. But the thing that turned me to say Kepa was a video that my friend Adebayo sent me. I sent it to you guys as well, of the entire Chelsea team screaming Kepa to come for a clearance, and he just stands there and watches the ball. Again, watches it from the moment it gets kicked, watches it onto Van Dijk's foot. And you can see after that, and if I can get a clip of it, we'll play it in this video, but Rudiger screams at him.
Robertson. And Van Dijk. And Van Dijk.
When luckily Van Dijk missed, but Rudiger goes absolutely insane at him.
And Van Dijk.
Which, damn right, I'd do the same thing if I was him. Like, you've got the entire team, Kepa, come for it. Just stares at it. If you can't communicate with your team, you shouldn't be playing. Full stop.
Oh, yeah.
And this could be the most shocking one that will shock you, Brato. This is another bad percentage for him. He has conceded 8% of Chelsea's overall conceded goals in Premier League history.
What?
8%.
In one season?
He's been playing 2 seasons.
Oh, 2 seasons.
But 8%? Come on. And he cost 71.6 million. Oh, if I was Frank Lampard, I'd be paying for a club to take him. No wonder he's like, and I get the fact that he's come from a Spanish league. He doesn't speak the language. That's it. Not many occasions could you say, I could have done better than that, most likely. I guarantee a civilian could do better than that.
Just give him the Karius treatment. Send him to Turkey.
And I text you guys the other day, just voicing my emotions towards Kepa, and I said, actually, I take that back that he's the worst keeper I've ever seen. Luis Karius is the worst keeper I've ever seen. I take that back again after seeing all this. I can't believe it. And I know that Lampard is probably furious because he's not a dumb manager. He's a very smart man, and he's got a great eye for football. He'll be going. If he doesn't go, I'd be shocked. He's paid 150 grand a week to be shit, and I just can't get over it, man.
Yeah.
Can you imagine how Peter Cech feels like being a goalkeeper coach? And it's like, dude, I've been on this team for 10 years? And I've conceded probably less goals than you did in 2 years. Like, that's just dumb.
Peter Cech has to be like, I'm ready. Like, put me in. I'm absolutely ready to go.
I'll do better than them. Like,
I bet Lampard's like that as well, to be honest. So that's my trash talk, Kepa. And I guess we can move on to a whole lot of love now.
Yeah, a whole lot of love. So I actually have. So I'm going to give a whole lot of love to Sergio Romero.
Okay.
So, who knows how many more seasons he's going to play with us. He might even leave this summer or this winter. But this dude has been at Man United for the longest time. He's been the backup goalkeeper. I mean, he's been the FA Cup goalkeeper for a while, too. Like, we told him, like, hey, FA Cup is yours. But he's been backup. I mean, De Gea has been, he's had a season where he hasn't done well, but we still kept De Gea as number one. We haven't even said, oh, hey, Sergio, you give, top of the it's your time, man. It's your time. But he's been a solid goalkeeper as a second choice goalkeeper. I mean, granted, it's FA Cup, so you're not playing Premier League teams day in, day out. But he's played in Europa League. He's played in FA Cup. Never really played on the biggest of stages. And he's done really well. Like, he's put in performances where, like, you could say, okay, you could probably go start at another Premier League team. But he's not. I mean, I don't think I've even heard anything from him at all about being unhappy or whatever. He's just like, you know what? I'm the backup goalkeeper. These are the games I play. And you know what? I'm happy. Like, I'm happy. I mean, granted, he's probably getting paid a good amount because he's at Man United. But, I mean, he's a good goalkeeper, good enough to start somewhere else. But he's been a solid second-choice goalkeeper for us for a long time now.
He's a very good goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Especially for, as you said, I think he could fit into most other teams.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'd second that. Whole Lot of Love. Brato, you want to go, man?
I would too. Yeah, I'll go. My Whole Lot of Love goes to the one and only Roy Keane.
Yes.
I think he's the light.
Yes.
I think he's late to watch in punditry. I love the fact that he's not afraid to call people out. I think he calls all of these things way before anyone else because he understands, how the footballing world works as he played in it. And I absolutely like being Tammy Abraham and the way he acted was my trash talk. And Roy Keane has spoken out against Paul Pogba and all this self-promoting that these players, young players do, and gets how they let these fame get into their head. Roy Keane, a whole lot of love for you, man. You called it way ahead of time, and it's ruining young talent. And the clubs need to figure something out in order to keep people in check.
Yeah, I mean, my favorite Roy Keane moment is where he was moaning about Paul Pogba, and I think it was Gary Neville said something to him, and Roy Keane just turned around and was like, I mean, it must have been heated in the dressing room. I heard it got that heated. I heard that they were throwing their hair gel at each other.
I love my two favorite things was the one you mentioned was Micah Richards. It's like, you bursting scene, and it was like, you bursting scene? No, you bursting scene. It just crosses him out. I was like, oh, the balls of that man. I love it. The second one was Aston Villa celebration. He's like, that was if they actually won something.
Yeah.
I was like, holy crap. I love Roy Keane. Whole lot of love goes to him.
Oh, damn.
Love for Roy Keane.
I would. Yeah, he's one of the guys in football that I think I would just love to go for a beer with, because no matter what, he's going to speak his mind. No matter what, he don't care who he insults. Oh man, I love Roy. He makes me laugh every time I watch him, and you can tell that he's thinking about it when Gary Neville or Jamie Carragher are talking. You can tell Roy Keane. You can just see his face that he's going to be like, well, it's absolute nonsense.
Kind of hear that that's exactly he's going to say it out loud too.
Yeah, and he's just going to call him out. Like, he said he would have fought Harry Maguire.
Yeah.
And he would have done.
Oh yeah, I don't doubt it. Or when he said he was like, oh yeah, De Gea should take a taxi home or whatever.
Yeah, he was like, I wouldn't let him on the bus.
I absolutely like Roy Keane is the reason why I watch the highlights of the punditry. He really is.
Oh, me too. Man. I love him so much. So my whole lot of love is going out to Alphonso Davies.
Oh.
Because I don't know if this is a little bit forward thing to say, but I would take him over any left back in the world.
Over Marcelo?
Oh, definitely. Oh, 100% over Marcelo.
Over Trent Alexander-Arnold?
Wait, he's a right back.
Well, over Robertson?
Oh, yeah, 100%. I'm all about pacey players, and more so, I'm more about players that will get forward and defend. And Alphonso Davies, I just think, is incredible. And Robertson is good as well. But I just think, Alphonso Davies is 19 years old, and he's just won.
He's just 19.
He's 19. So he was the youngest player to start the youngest regular team player, should I say, in the Bundesliga. He won the Bundesliga Rookie of the Year. And he's the starting left back for Bayern Munich. And he's a 19-year-old Canadian. And
that is pretty crazy.
He was so good against Chelsea as well. You couldn't get near him.
Yeah.
As soon as Kovacic would step out, Davis would push forward. And then I think he reads the game well. I think he passes it. He gets assists. He gets goals. And he defends so well. So I just love a player a little bit like Mourinho does. I love a player that will work hard for the team. And if you had Alphonso Davies on your team, you wouldn't worry as much from a defending point of view because he'll get back.
Yeah.
Like I saw today, he got the quickest sprint speed in the Bundesliga last season at 36.5 kilometers per hour. That's ridiculous. And that was against Erling Haaland, who himself is quick. And Haaland had a sprint on goal. And Davis literally ran straight past him as if he wasn't even there, got the ball. I just think he's sensational. And not only just for his speed, I think his speed is scary, but I think he's a fantastic footballer. So there's my whole lot of love. Alphonso Davies. Hopefully next week it'll be Højbjerg signing for Chelsea. For Tottenham.
Whoa. Yeah, so there you have it. That's our thoughts on the Europa League, Champions League fixtures and, what's all going on this week. So, once again, hit us up on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Like and subscribe us. And, let us know what you think about what we've been saying. If you disagree with us, definitely want to talk to you. But once again, it's Steve to you. 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 Once again, it's Steve to you.